Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson, that's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of lsatdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. Ahmed writes in about academic dishonesty to the T14 and seeking guidance.
I'm an international student pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Economics with minors in Statistics and Data Science. My cumulative GPA is approximately 3.78 or 3.79, and I scored a 180 on the LSAT.
Congrats on the 180, but wait, why are you going to law
Nice.
school?
Totally. Yeah, you can code. People who can code, by the way, tend to do really well on the LSAT.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
long been like the major that does the best on the LSAT is computer
And
science.
economics and
Economics
physics.
too.
Yep, any hard science, basically. Yeah.
And not that economics is that hard of a science, but
No, but it's
electrical
harder than
engineering,
others, right? It's harder than English.
harder than political science, for example. Yeah. Sure. So 180 and good grades, but boy, statistics and data science seems like you could do useful things for the world. Why law school?
Yeah.
Good point, Ben. Anyway, in my third semester, I was accused of academic dishonesty in a language course for using ChatGPT to prepare for an exam where its use was prohibited. I did not realize this restriction existed at the time, but I fully acknowledge it was my responsibility to understand and follow the guidelines. I received academic probation, a 0 on the exam, a required reflection essay, and completion of an academic integrity course. Wait a minute. You weren't allowed to use ChatGPT to prepare for an exam?
Yeah, that's wild.
What kind of bullshit is that?
How is that different than Google?
That's just preposterous. The school's like, no. You can only use this musty old textbook. You can't use the internet to learn things.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Either we're not hearing the facts correctly, or
Also, how would they possibly have known?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm wondering if the story is a little like incomplete. But the other possibility here is that, hey, especially when ChatGPT first hit the market, people reacted to it in very strange ways.
Yeah. Counterpoint. Maybe it was an open book exam. And maybe the questions were given out ahead of time.
At home,
and
do at home.
Ahmed was like, oh, no problem. I'll put these questions into ChatGPT, get the answers, put the answers in my notes. And then he like basically copy pasted ChatGPT into the exam. At that point, I could see why they wouldn't want you to do that. They caught him using software or something, huh?
Somehow, yeah.
Or M dashes.
Yeah, because if you were genuinely just preparing, yeah. This looks a little too good.
I was reading a thing yesterday about a writer who is like a good writer, and good writers tend sometimes to use M dashes because it allows for a different type of a pause in the flow of
and
the
a connection
narrative.
And an equal sign. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I've got commas, but I've also got other tools, and I use these other tools for different purposes, and M dashes are a tool I personally do use. But anyway, this writer was like, wait, but if everybody's going to think now that I'm AI, I have to stop using M dashes now because people think that it's a sign, which it is a sign of AI writing, but it's also a sign of good writing.
Yeah.
And so we're like, are we going to let ChatGPT shitify our writing?
Yeah.
By taking good tools out of our tool bag? I don't know. Anyway. Ahmed continues, the charge does not appear on my transcript, but it does appear in my separate disciplinary file, and I was informed that it will be removed from that file after 7 years. After that semester, I committed to taking full responsibility and improving in every area. I have since taken the maximum allowed course load each semester and once exceeded it with permission. I served as a TA for 2 professors, held 2 leadership positions, volunteered, and participated in several extracurricular activities. With full accountability for the incident, I would greatly appreciate your honest insight into the following. 3 bullets. 1. How badly will this academic dishonesty issue hurt my chances at T14 law schools, considering my LSAT score, GPA, and strong upward trend?
It's not great, but your numbers matter more This is why you just have to apply broadly and see how schools react differently to it.
GPA is not great for the top 14. GPA is going to be below the median for almost the entire top 14.
Yeah.
But that 180 makes you a badass splitter. I mean, this is a full ride to Wash U.
Totally.
So,
I think Wash U is probably not going to care that much. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they have some policy
why
against
would they?
it. Yeah,
I can't imagine.
They don't have policies against other things.
Yeah. I mean, Ahmed, I know you're asking us to speculate, but you're really just not going to know until you apply. So apply broadly and see what happens. Bullet number 2. Should I even declare this incident on my applications since it's not on my transcript, but appears only in my disciplinary file, which will be removed after 7 years, which is by the time I take the bar?
Well, it depends on the question being asked on the application. You have to be 100% honest. 2, I would talk to the state bar if you're thinking about how it will affect your application then.
I would err on the side of just disclosing. I don't think they're going to give a shit. I think if you're honest about what happened, especially in a ChatGPT AI situation,
that's
where you can
rapidly.
credibly say, hey, I didn't know. I literally didn't even know that this wasn't allowed. But now that I know that it's not allowed, of course, I would never do it again.
Yeah.
And I never have done it again. I just think you disclose, you can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about it. I would be shocked. I'd be beyond shocked if this actually made a difference. How stupid do schools have to be for something like this to make a difference? This is an emerging area. He's an undergrad who ends up having really good grades and a great LSAT. What business are they in if they're going to shut down somebody like this for one stupid ChatGPT issue?
The only issue is when you're debating between two students already. And you're like,
there's not a lot of 180s in the world. And
no, there's not. But
there's even fewer BS in economics with minors in statistics and data science who are even applying to law school. I mean, Ahmed is kind of a unicorn, and we're trying to tell Ahmed, dude, why are you even thinking about going to law school? There's better opportunities in the world. I think the law schools are going to be desperate for somebody like this. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, that's why you apply broadly, because definitely there will be schools that are desperate for Ahmed.
And then maybe one school or two schools, the wrong crusty old professor reads this and is like, what? They're like offended.
Hell no. Fuck no. Yeah, we're not doing that.
They're offended that you ever even would use ChatGPT.
Oh, they'd say fudge no. Fudge no. We're not going to do.
Would it improve my chances to work for 2 to 3 years before applying to show greater maturity, responsibility, and distance from the misconduct? No, there's tons of good reasons why you should take gap years. This is not one of those.
Jinx, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time and all the work you do for LSAT students. Any guidance you can provide would be truly appreciated. Best, Ahmed. All right, Ahmed. I hope that was helpful. Ben, do you agree with me? I think he's making way too much out of this.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. If we have successfully talked Ahmed out of going to law school because we think there's better opportunities out there for him, what types of things do you think he should be working on?
ChatGPT.
How though?
How it can be integrated into whatever he is interested in. Yeah.
I mean, because if he's going to go to law school, he needs to be thinking about how the AIs can be implemented into whatever area of law he's looking to practice.
Yeah. Just before recording this podcast, I was on a webinar with Ross Guberman, listening to him talk about how attorneys and judges and clerks and everyone is using AI in some way, shape, or form to make their job better. There are obviously problems, but he was talking about how people are working around them. People aren't talking about how do I avoid AI. They're talking about how do I use AI to become a better attorney, to be more efficient, and to do my job as best I can to stay competitive.
Of course, that was a self-selecting group, and there are a lot of people who weren't at that webinar who probably hate AI and will never use AI. But it's just hard to imagine, as fast as it is, and as thorough as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you can play one off the other and then back to the first and then back to the second, and you can do all of that in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
You know, even if it never rises above the level of like competent intern in every field, that's still pretty valuable that you've got an unlimited army of competent interns in every field that you can deploy if
cheaply
you know
and quickly. Yep.
It basically is free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not literally free because people who use these tools tend to pay for the better models or pay for more tokens or whatever. But if you haven't found a way to get value out of it, I don't think you've tried.
Yep.
So anyway, that is interesting to know, though, that you said judges, attorneys at this webinar learning about how to deploy this technology in their own courts or practices.
Yeah. For example, one tool he was talking about takes a look at citations and does a quote reality check. Green light is yes, it's a verified citation and you're using it in the way that it should be used.
Yep.
Yellow, yeah, the citation probably exists, or no, it does exist, but it seems like you might not be using it authoritatively, which is a big issue, right? In law.
Yeah. And
red is doesn't exist. So
it doesn't exist, or it doesn't say what you say it says. Like those words are literally not there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the counterpoint's going to be, oh, well, they could be wrong. They could be wrong. Yeah. Okay. But so could your clerk.
Yeah. People, they kind of ignore like the multitude of mistakes that a lot of even experienced people make daily. Yeah.
ChatGPT isn't showing up to work hungover.
Yeah.
ChatGPT doesn't have a pet that's at the vet, like emotional problems. And ChatGPT is wildly expensive and way faster. Yeah. Okay. So Ahmed's going to have a leg up, right? If Ahmed decides he wants to practice law.
Yeah.
And he uses his tech skills, he is going to have a leg up in this field.
Yep.
There's maybe other fields though, right? That he could be working in. I don't know. Want to wrap it up there?
Yeah. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.